The Bride of Frankenstein, the sequel that elevated horror. It was supposed to be a gimmick. It became a Gothic masterpiece. In 1931, Universal Pictures forever changed the horror genre with Frankenstein, introducing Boris Karloff as the misunderstood monster. The film, based on Mary Shelley's novel, terrified audiences and made Karloff a household name. But director James Whale was resistant to follow-ups, believing the story had reached its natural conclusion. Yet studio pressure persisted. By 1935, the sequel, The Bride of Frankenstein, emerged not as a mere continuation but as a genre-defining masterpiece. James Whale, known for his theatrical flair, returned only under the condition of creative control. What followed was a film laced with Gothic horror, but unlike its predecessor, this installment introduces themes of loneliness, rejection, and the human yearning for companionship. Elsa Lanchester's haunting dual performance as both Mary Shelley and the enigmatic bride remains etched in cinematic history. Her shocking entrance-streaked hair, standing like lightning bolts, became one of Hollywood's most enduring visuals. Karloff's portrayal deepens in emotional complexity. The monster's longing for connection, heartbreak at rejection, and ultimate despair elevated the character beyond horror archetypes. Contemporary critics were astounded. The New York Times called it grotesque and fantastic, surpassing its predecessor in every regard. The grotesque, tragically beautiful. Bells of St. Mary's. The gentle sequel that softened hearts. No one expected a sequel to a story about faith, but Hollywood was about to witness grace on the silver screen. In 1944, Going My Way surprised audiences with its heartfelt portrayal of Father Chuck O'Malley, played by Bing Crosby. It became an Oscar-winning success, winning Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor. But when director Leo McCarey proposed a sequel, even Crosby expressed doubts. "You can't duplicate grace," he famously remarked. This time, Father O'Malley is assigned to a struggling Catholic school, overseen by the resilient Sister Mary Benedict, portrayed by Ingrid Bergman with quiet dignity. What followed was not a mere rehash, but a story grounded in compassion, faith, and the quiet struggles of everyday life. Bergman's portrayal of Sister Mary, filled with grace and strength, earned praise worldwide. Time magazine described the film as a rare testament to decency, as gentle as a spring rain. Becoming 1,945's highest-grossing film. It received 8 Academy Award nominations, with Crosby becoming the first actor nominated twice for playing the same character. McCarey's belief in humanity shone through. He once remarked, "We don't need grand battles to move hearts, only honesty and hope." His film proved that sequels, rooted in sincerity, could enrich rather than diminish their predecessors. Another Thin Man, the detective sequel with enduring wit. By the third film, audiences expected exhaustion. Instead, they got brilliance. William Powell and Myrna Loy became instant icons as Nick and Nora Charles, the glamorous, quick-witted detective duo navigating crime with a cocktail in hand. The film's success led to an immediate sequel, After the Thin Man, which deepened the characters and proved the couple's chemistry was no fluke. 3 films in 5 years? Audiences, the studio feared, would surely tire of Nick and Nora's antics. Director W.S. Van Dyke, affectionately called One-Take Woody for his efficient, spontaneous filming style, refused to let the magic fade. A newborn son, Nicky Jr. Parenthood injects new dynamics, softening the hard edges of the murder mystery without sacrificing wit. Powell and Loy's chemistry remained electric. Their teasing exchanges, peppered with affection, provided audiences both laughter and familiarity in uncertain times. Behind the scenes, the duo's genuine friendship translated effortlessly to the screen. Critics praised the film's ability to feel fresh. The Los Angeles Times declared, "Few screen couples have sustained such effortless allure." Even Hammett, whose characters inspired the films, remarked that Powell and Loy gave Nick and Nora more life than I ever imagined. Another Thin Man wasn't just another sequel. It solidified the Charleses as enduring symbols of elegance, humor, and detective genius. Road to Morocco, the comedic sequel that became a classic. It started as a studio afterthought, but this sequel became comedy gold. When Road to Singapore hit theaters in 1940, it wasn't expected to launch a franchise. Paramount Pictures simply wanted lighthearted entertainment, and the film's mix of exotic adventure and wisecracks from Bing Crosby and Bob Hope delivered just that. The unexpected success of Road to Singapore led to Road to Zanzibar in 1941, further cementing the comedic chemistry between Crosby and Hope. Yet, by the time Road to Morocco was proposed, there were doubts. Would the formula grow stale? Could a third film, loosely tied to its predecessors, maintain audience enthusiasm? Released in 1942, directed by David Butler, the film embraced absurdity, satire, and irreverent humor unlike anything seen before. Dorothy Lamour, already established as the series' glamorous anchor, returns as Princess Shalmar, providing both romantic tension and elegance. The film's signature song, We're Off on the Road to Morocco, epitomized the playful tone and became an enduring classic. Crosby and Hope's improvisational energy was palpable. In later interviews, Bob Hope recalled, "Half the time, we didn't know what scene we were filming, we just winged it. Maybe that's why it worked." Critics praised the film's wit and innovation. Road to Morocco transcended its origins as a mere sequel. It showcased Hollywood's ability to evolve, blending music, satire, and adventure in a way that influenced generations of buddy comedies to come. From Russia with Love, the spy sequel that perfected 007. No one thought lightning could strike twice for James Bond. Then came Istanbul. When Dr. No premiered in 1962, it introduced Sean Connery as James Bond, suave, lethal, and equipped with charm that captivated audiences worldwide. Producers Albert R. Broccoli and Harry Saltzman believed the potential was limitless. For the follow-up, they selected From Russia with Love, one of Ian Fleming's most critically acclaimed Bond novels. Directed by Terrence Young, the film embraced Cold War paranoia, grounding Bond's world in real-world espionage. It traded some of the fantastical elements for gritty intrigue. Along the way, he encounters the alluring Tatiana Romanova, played by Daniela Bianchi, and the formidable assassin Red Grant, portrayed by Robert Shaw in one of the franchise's most chilling performances. The Guardian praised its taut suspense and exotic allure, while the Times of London called it an espionage adventure of rare sophistication. Even Ian Fleming, often critical of adaptations, declared, "This is the Bond I imagined, deadly, charming, and utterly watchable." Commercially, the film was a triumph, grossing over $78 million worldwide, a staggering figure for the era. Its success cemented James Bond not just as a fleeting character but as a cultural icon. More than an action thriller, From Russia with Love captured the geopolitical anxieties of the 1960s, blending style, substance, and high stakes. It perfected the formula that would sustain Bond through decades of cinema. The Godfather Part Two, the sequel that redefined cinema. Sequels were meant to cash in, not create art, but this one changed everything. When Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather premiered in 1972, it didn't just become a hit, it reshaped Hollywood, winning Best Picture and elevating the gangster genre into cinematic mythology. Marlon Brando's performance, the haunting score, and the story of the Corleone family captivated audiences worldwide. The Godfather was revered. Why risk tainting its legacy? Yet, Paramount was insistent, and Coppola saw an opportunity to break convention. The Godfather Part Two, released in 1974, wasn't just a sequel, it was an evolution. Al Pacino's chilling portrayal of Michael's moral decay mesmerized audiences, while De Niro's performance as young Vito won him an Academy Award, making The Godfather Saga one of the rare series where both actors playing the same character earned Oscars. Reviews declared it a cinematic triumph. The New York Times called it a film of staggering artistry, while Pauline Kael praised its operatic scale and quiet devastation. Against expectations, The Godfather Part Two became the first sequel to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, alongside 5 other Oscars. Coppola later reflected, "I didn't want to repeat myself. I wanted to prove a sequel could be an exploration, a descent deeper into the human condition." Today, The Godfather Part Two is widely regarded as one of the greatest films ever made, influencing generations of storytellers. The Color of Money, the sequel that revived a legend. A sequel to a 1960s pool drama? Hollywood laughed, until this film proved otherwise. In 1961, The Hustler introduced audiences to Fast Eddie Felson, played with raw intensity by Paul Newman. It wasn't just a film about pool, it was a meditation on ambition, pride, and the price of self-destruction. Hollywood sequels, especially to dramas, rarely succeeded. Who would want to see a pool hustler 25 years later? Martin Scorsese did. By the mid-1980s, Scorsese was already a respected filmmaker, known for gritty realism and character studies. He saw potential in exploring Fast Eddie as an aging icon confronting regret, legacy, and redemption. The Color of Money, released in 1986, reintroduced Eddie Felson older, wiser, but still haunted by his past. The film was more than a sports drama. It was a story of mentorship, ego, and the consequences of ambition. Scorsese layered the narrative with moody atmosphere, sharp performances, and his signature visual flair. Newman's portrayal of the older, more vulnerable Fast Eddie resonated with audiences and critics alike. For Newman, it was a career milestone. The role finally earned him his long-overdue Academy Award for Best Actor. Decades after The Hustler, many viewed it as both a recognition of his performance and his enduring impact on cinema. Reflecting on the film, Newman humbly remarked, "Sometimes characters stick with you. Fast Eddie never left. I just had to age into him." Tarzan and His Mate, the jungle sequel that outshone the original. The first film made him a star. The sequel made him a legend. In 1932, Tarzan the Ape Man swung onto screens, introducing audiences to Johnny Weissmuller as the vine-swinging king of the jungle and Maureen O'Sullivan as the spirited Jane. Hollywood at the time viewed sequels as quick cash grabs, often rushed and inferior. Even MGM executives were cautious. Nevertheless, 2 years later, Tarzan and His Mate emerged not just as a sequel, but as a bold, visually stunning, and surprisingly romantic adventure that would become one of the era's most beloved jungle epics. The film reunited Weissmuller and O'Sullivan, whose chemistry now burned brighter. Their portrayal of Tarzan and Jane moved beyond novelty, evolving into an iconic screen romance defined by playful banter and deep loyalty. Art director Cedric Gibbons crafted lush, atmospheric jungle landscapes. Most famously, the film featured an underwater swimming sequence with Tarzan and Jane, a lyrical, balletic scene considered one of the most beautiful and sensual moments of 1930s cinema. While studio censors later edited portions of the sequence, it remains a landmark of visual storytelling. Johnny Weissmuller cemented his status as the definitive Tarzan, bringing athleticism and charisma to the role. Maureen O'Sullivan's Jane evolved into more than a damsel. She became a symbol of strength, compassion, and agency. Despite its success, Tarzan and His Mate also sparked controversy for pushing boundaries, contributing to the establishment of stricter Hollywood production codes shortly after.